Everybody in their lives moves around. We change environments, landscapes, friends. But what if you happen to move from your comfortable home down in the ocean, where you happen to have working electricity and fire, to having to go to school every day on the surface? All of this happening whilst you try to manage your love life as well as the threat of the world ending. I wish I could be part of that world. Asukara, aka Lull in the Sea, is a 26 episode show about four 14-year-old middle school students from a village under the sea called the Seashell on the Seashore. Once their school under the sea closes, they are forced to go to the school on the surface. So, setting-wise, this place is pretty cool. Of course you have the generic high school look where our main dudes sit at the back by the window, but then we have this amazing look of under the sea, and the outside, where most of the show is actually set, and with lovely colours for the sea, and also the beautiful weather effects. Okay, so as you've already noticed, I love the animation. PA Works, the guys behind this, have some amazing skill. The fluency in the animation and the vibrant backgrounds I've been talking about just really set the atmosphere of this world and really just grab you in. The animation itself is something to be talked about at great length, from the gorgeous eyes of the sea people and the beautiful character designs. Well, except from this bitch, she just creeps me out. Just look at her. Just look at her. What the hell? Anyway, this is fortunate for them because the story, well, it's a little more plain. Of course, there is the threat of the world ending, but honestly, we don't really see that too much in the show. Instead, we are focusing on the love story. That's not necessarily a bad thing, of course, if done right, and in an interesting way. Yeah, if this more generic love polygon is instead what we get, and we are reduced to shouting, "Kiss the girl" at our monitors. We also touch the premise of supernatural elements when we talk about the sea god, but unfortunately again, this really isn't focused on. So, since the whole story revolves around love, you would expect some really great characters, but this is a hit and miss really. Hikarin, our lead male, isn't too likeable in my opinion due to his stubborn attitudes. Ariel, I mean Manika, arguably our main girl, is a naive and overall a crybaby who depends on others to look after her. Not likeable at first, but due to the coming of age style of the show, this does change. I do, however, like Chisaki, the other girl from the sea. More calm and mature, yet at the same time, still has her childish squabbles. Kaname is more level-headed but a bit dull due to his rare appearances. And finally, Sumagu, the mysterious boy on the surface, who is also a bit boring since he doesn't really do much either. We also have Sayu and Miyuna, our two third graders which enter the love mix too. Though of course, this all changes, which is what the show is really good at in terms of the characters. The development. How we see some characters change and others don't really is good. This whole coming of age story I do really enjoy, and it really makes good content in terms of storytelling. And overall the love story is just seriously well written, with great foreshadowing all the time on numerous events, which just displays really good structure of the show. So huge props to Mario Okada who wrote this, and was also the writer of Ano Hana, so good job missus. And finally, onto sound, where there isn't much to say other than fitting. The calm melodies and the sound of the ocean fit the slice of life genre really well, and this show in particular perfectly. The voices overall are all great, with some underdogs as well as the usual big dogs. I also love both the openings by Rei and the endings by Nagi in terms of the mood they set. They might not be the most catchy upbeat tune Sebastian would sing, but in terms of the tone of the show, they just work really well. So, did I enjoy this show, even with all these problems? Yeah, I did. The atmosphere, due to this beautiful animation, really drew me in to this interesting world. And even with the cliched story, it did have its twist, which made the show intense at times. The pacing, in my opinion, was just right. It may be a bit slow for some people, though. Also, at points, it did have these cliffhanger endings, which were a bit forced since they had them almost every episode. In terms of scoring, based on story, animation, characters, music, and enjoyment, I'd give Nagi-Asukara 4 stars and would recommend the show to anybody who enjoys a romance drama with a supernatural twist. If you enjoyed this show and want something else, I'd recommend Shingeki Yori in terms of storytelling, and also it has a more darker tone, And also Ano no Hana for more of Okada Mari's storytelling and a more romance drama with a supernatural element. Well, that's it for this review. Make sure if you enjoyed this to like and subscribe. Oh, and FYI, it took me absolutely ages to get all these Little Mermaid references.